Match day 3 is nearly upon us, and my wild card is active. Alright, so in order to build this wildcard draft, there's a couple of things that I think we need to focus on. Some of which we know now. Given that match day 2 is still in progress, some of the groups aren't quite decided yet, but I think we can make a decent decision on the best teams to pick from. And there's two factors, right? I'm going to take you through the groups. Teams that have already gone through, we can't really pick players from because I think they're probably going to rotate. So most teams that are sitting on, well, in the most case, 6 points or have won 2 games and a few points clear in their group, they're probably going to rotate, particularly if they're a strong team with a strong squad. So what we're looking for is teams with good fixtures, which we'll talk about in a second, but also teams that have not won their group, still have something to play for. So we're looking at Group A. I think Palmeiras here, all of Group A is still to play for. I'd say in my mind, the team I'd want to pick from out of Group A is probably Porto. So that's a team I like the look of. PSG are definitely not automatically through. Botafogo also are not automatically through. They could still come third in their group if PSG and Atletico win in and do really well, score lots of goals and beat them on goal difference. I really like PSG and Atletico Madrid from that group. Group C, Bayern are already through, right? They got a chance of coming second, but I think they're probably going to rotate for match day 3. One of the reasons I'm playing my wild card is because I've currently got some Bayern Munich players in my team. Benfica, possibly. They're, I believe, playing Bayern Munich. And then we've got Boca Juniors against Auckland City. It's Operation Target Auckland City in this group in my mind, so I think I'll probably have 3 Boca Junior players. Looking at Group D, Flamengo, well, it looks like they're pretty much through at this point. I'm just not too keen on Flamengo now after those two games. I am keen on Chelsea. I think they could do quite well, so I'll be looking to pick some Chelsea players. Group E, it looks Inter Milan have had an interesting tournament so far. Obviously only played 1 fixture. I think of that group, I'm looking really at going for Inter Milan players. Group F, Dortmund still on the card. Someone like Guirassy, for example, could be pickable. The rest of the teams, not so keen on. Group G, I reckon Juventus, Man City, probably already going to be through come match day 2, and I think they play each other in match day 3, so can't really pick those players. And then I'm looking at Group H, and we got Real Madrid there as well. So in terms of looking through the groups, points total the teams are on, even after 1 fixture, you can kind of make a call on teams you'd want to pick players from. So in addition to that, I've got some projection data from 11ify, starting off with the clean sheet odds. As I kind of stated, well, I stated already, Boca Juniors have Auckland City. They're top for clean sheet odds, 72% likely to keep a clean sheet. Chelsea are on 64%, Paris Saint-Germain on 57%, Dortmund for 54%, Atletico 46%. You can see the rest of the teams there. Inter 42% as well. Those are kind of the teams that I spoke through already when looking at the groups. And then in terms of projected goals, it's a similar story. You know, the teams with the best fixtures are going to come top for clean sheet odds and top projected goals. And I think you need to, pick defenders from these top teams that don't have the best attacks, if that makes sense. So Chelsea and PSG, I think you probably want to get as many of their attacking assets in as you can squeeze in because, well, they're probably going to score a lot of goals. Whereas Boca Juniors, I would back them defensively, but I don't really trust too much of their attack in it. Same kind of logic would apply to Madrid. So, you know, top 4 teams to target for projected goals are Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain, Boca Juniors and Real Madrid. Although I wouldn't necessarily hang my hat on Boca Junior attackers, whereas you've got to think there's a pretty much nailed on clean sheet for them there against Auckland. Even though there's still the massive disparity between the teams. So they probably score a lot of goals. I'm tempted to treble up on the Boca Juniors defence. And just going back to that defence, they're by far and away the best team for clean sheet odds as well. Anything sort of 50%-ish could go either way kind of thing, but Boca Juniors on 72. You've got to think that clean sheet is almost nailed on as I get harassed by a fly. So hopefully, going through the groups, those projections there give you an idea of, some of the teams we want to be targeting. All right then, so starting off with goalkeepers and defenders then. This is how I'm lining up. So I've gone big on Boca Juniors, got Marchesam, Blanco and Costa, who I think are three defensive assets that should start the game against Auckland, backing them to keep a clean sheet. And also, they're relatively low ownership. Whether they'll stay below 5% come the deadline, I'm not too sure, but I'm kind of hoping you get some get some scouting bonus for them. And I guess Boca Juniors attackers would apply the same as well. But yeah, so far, I'm pretty happy with that treble up on Boca. I've got 2 Inter defenders as well. Obviously, their first game in the Club World Cup was disappointing, but historically, they are a team that are just really solid defensively. I've gone for Sommer and Acerbi from them. I look at all the Inter defenders, especially the wing-backs, and I can't, at the moment, hang my hat on one's playing good minutes. And whereas you got Bastoni on like 10% ownership, who is probably Inter's best defender, I don't see how Acerbi doesn't start the final game or the third game, and how, well, he's under 5% owned at the moment, so he gets the scouting bonus, and that for me just puts him ahead of Bastoni. So I've gone for him so far. Whether his ownership goes up above 5%, I'm not too sure. And then I've got Trent and Hakimi, both playing, wing back for their respective clubs. Trent didn't have the best time in matchday 1, so we'll see what happens with him in matchday 2. But for the time being, I've picked him for this fixture. And I think whilst these players are not going to get scouting bonus, the attacking upside they bring is just over and above the 2 bonus points you get for scouting bonus in my mind. So yeah, I'm not going to spend too long on this video talking through each of the assets, because I think I've explained that when going through the projections in the groups. That's how my defence is shaping up as it stands. And it's definitely not locked in at this point, but I think got a pretty good idea how it's going to look. All right, on to the midfield then. And I'm Operation Target Chelsea, basically. Pedro Neto, I think, has been their standout attacker this tournament so far. Played 90 minutes in both games. Scored, I think, 3 goals. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but he's done really well. So I'm happy with Pedro Neto. Then we've got Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer, I think, are the sort of the next best thing. Kvaratskhelia of PSG, with Dembele out injured or doubtful at least, I'm just not sure he's going to play match day 3. So I think the next best player, attacking option to pick from PSG, is Kvaratskhelia. So I've gone for him. And then I needed a cheap midfielder. I think River Plate have a chance of being through in match day 2 already. So I've gone for Rodrigo Mora alongside Mastan Tuono, the 2 best cheap midfielders in the game. Quite simply, I've gone for Rodrigo Mora. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he got an attacking return in match day 1. And then up front, well, I've gone for a double Real Madrid attack. I'm hoping that Mbappe will be ready to go for match day 3. I believe he missed match day 1 with an illness. Unlucky for people that had him, particularly as their 12th man. I literally wasted a chip on him. I've gone for, I keep forgetting the guy's name. Samu, isn't it? Samu Aguihawa of Porto. Scored a penalty in match day 1. And yeah, 4.2 million for a Porto. Well, any attacker. Porto still have something to play for in match day 3. He's on penalties. I think he'd be a great pick, and he saves you a lot of cash as well and allows you to build a strong team around him. Pick all of the other players that I have. They've gone for Vinicius as well. I think he's the next best thing from Real Madrid. Didn't have the best time of it in match day 1. Real Madrid in general didn't have the best time of it in match day 1, but he's Vinicius, isn't he? Ballon d'Or level sort of footballer. I'm backing him. It is quite hard to pick that sort of third striker spot. I could go for Haaland. Well, could have gone for Haaland, but he's playing Juventus and probably at this point already through. Guirassy of Dortmund is another one I could potentially pick if I fancy him over Vinicius. I could potentially do that. I'm just scrolling up the list of groups. I could go for Liam Delap of Chelsea as well. Maybe Gonzalo Ramos of PSG too, but for the time being, I've gone for Vinicius. I just quite like the thought of owning him in the game. And yeah, as things stand, that's how my wildcard draft is looking. All right, well, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that, found it useful, and please let me know in the comments if you disagree with any of the picks I've made here. I always say this in all of my videos, but fantasy football is all about different opinions. If we all had the same opinions, we'd all have the same teams, and the games would be really boring. So if you disagree with some of my picks, totally cool. I just ask you be polite about it in the comments. That was a pretty quick counter through of things there with the wildcard draft, but I don't want to make a video really long form where I go through things in great detail, because I think there's just, I'm adopting quite a casual attitude to this game because there's so much uncertainty around this tournament in terms of lineups, how serious teams really are about their games, etc. I don't mean that to disparage the tournament, but you know what I mean. So I'm taking it quite casual and not trying to overthink my decisions in this one. So yeah, I hope you can appreciate that. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a like rating. And yeah, if you haven't already, subscribe to the Golden Goal channel, which should be just here on your screen. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video.